Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for the invitation to give a short presentation as we hear championing the role of small companies within IMI. As we know, this is a really large funding programme and it's been quite challenging for smaller companies to be part of it. But what I'm going to tell you this afternoon is that small companies have opportunities and talent to bring... Oh, did I kill the system? Oh, okay, I'm done. I'm really bad with IT, as you can tell. Anyway, but the microphones are still working, I think. Yeah, it's fine. I come from the European Biotechnology Network, which is a Europe-wide network that works across all sectors that has the mission to build partnerships. And what we do within this network is that we look at all research funding that small companies may apply for in a collaborative fashion, which brings us into all the major European and US funding programs to try and use targeted research funding to build collaborations, particularly with small companies. And as we know, in financially challenging times, small companies, particularly in a high-risk sector such as biotechnology, are the first to suffer, and they don't have nice long project times. They have 6 months of pipeline money left before the doors close. And so I'm extremely keen to bring as many small companies as possible into programs such as IMI for two reasons. They are the distillation of brilliant European academic research that has found its way out to be intended to be applied into the clinic and into industry. And also, they're really good at what they do. That is their core business model. It's not research plus a bit of project management on the side. Their business means that they're very good at what their core business strategy states. So IMI is a great opportunity for small companies to really show their colours and do a great job. And so, first of all, when I looked through the call this morning, it was to say, where are the opportunities for small companies within the two calls that we essentially have today? Because we have the opportunity to set up the screening centre and the opportunity to build the library as well. And if you read the description of work required for both of those programmes, there is SMEs written all over it. So in the first project, where you're looking at the building of the screening centre, you are looking for great opportunities for specialists in bioinformatics, data management, high-throughput screening technologies. And you can find companies like this in Europe that specialise in each and every one of those elements. So you don't have to try and struggle to build your own research and then add a high-throughput screening expertise on the top of that. There are organisations that do this for a living and are funded to do this for a living. In the second call, of course, where you have the actual building of the library itself, you have hundreds and hundreds of small companies in Europe that have extremely good specialist small libraries. Some small, some big. Most of those organisations will be looking for product development themselves, but on the road to that product development, they have built significantly good screening libraries. And we've already been contacted by a number of small companies that have these screening libraries that they would like to bring to this. And so we would really like to help facilitate that. And of course, IMI presents a challenge for small companies, not because of the IP issue, which I think is not a really serious issue if you approach your IP in a sensible fashion. I think it's largely an urban myth that your IP will be stolen and taken away by all the people in your project. If you plan it properly, nothing is going to happen and the benefit can only be great. No, the challenges for small companies within IMI are that these projects are very big. It's not like Framework 7, where you can have an SME-driven consortium to apply for a 6 or 9 million euro grant. These are 40 million euro contributions from the IMI Secretariat, and that's matched by the FPA in-kind contribution. So logistically, that's a really big ask to get a small company to pull together a huge team of organisations that meets the very broad range of criteria. So realistically speaking, small companies aren't going to lead this. So they're likely to be partners within this. And the second challenge comes there is that how do they find consortia to be part of? How do they help develop consortia? And so I wanted to just this afternoon make a few brief suggestions to people here. For the small companies, if you decide that this is relevant for you, you need to get out there and find the key public organisations that you think will be operating in this. If you're a small drug development company, you will know where the leading researcher groups are in Europe. It's your job to know that. So you should be picking up the phone to them and finding out what they think of this call, if they're going for it, who else is going for it. They should also be looking at the existing complementary projects that are already referenced in this document, because you can be really sure that most of the partners in those consortia will also be looking at this call. You need practical ways to go out and dig up people who could be potentially leading consortia, because it's unlikely that people are going to come to you if you're trying to be a partner in a project. And you must start this early. It's really important to be early. The previous problems we've seen, well, not problems, challenges for small companies, is that if they leave it too late, by the time they find a consortium, that consortium is done. It's full. They're not going to take anybody else on board. So before you even start to think about the technical challenges, you get the partners in place, because you need the best partners in your consortium, as you all well know. If they're not with you, they're in the competition, and that is not good news for you. And for the academic groups and the public organisations, there are so many small companies looking for opportunities like this that bring fantastic skills and fantastic resources. So you don't have to have small companies in this. You're not obliged to include small companies. But I would say to you, you're losing out so much if you do not make sure that your consortium has got lots of small companies in, not just as decorations around the edge after you put together your core players, but key drivers, particularly in the screening and lead the sort of compound library building thing, because companies are already working at the highest professional standards. They don't need to take the step to professionalise their compound storage, characterisation, high throughput screening. They've already done that. It's their business model. So you're starting much further down the road with competitive compounds and organisations that are much more likely to lead to a successful candidate being identified and taken through to clinical trials. And so what are we doing as an organisation to try and help this? Is we've already been approached by a number of small companies that would like to be part of this, and we're going to spend the next few weeks finding as many small companies as possible that would be suitable for this. Small companies that would struggle to find the big consortia to try and join and get hold of. So what I'm saying, I have an invitation for you today, is if you are a small company, come and find me at lunchtime. Tell us what you're doing. Is that for you? You can get that, it's fine. If you're a small company, come and find me, because we would like to build a pool of companies that are suitable for both sides of this application, so that we can have an industry-driven approach to the design and delivery of this, because they're small companies, because the funding pipelines are short, they have to get it right, and they have to get it right first time. So you're going to get really good project design by having a heavy small company presence within your project. They don't have time to have another go later. And if you're an academic group, again, please come and talk to us, because we can put you together with the right small companies that would suit the work that you're trying to do and bring the right skills elements. So that was really sort of my short and sharp message today, to say there should be many more small companies within this programme, and this is a great opportunity to bring lots of really good companies together. So I say thank you very much for the opportunity, and look forward to speaking to you shortly.